what difference is it's just what you said, Sid. It's not a targeted tax benefit here, a small loophole, open or closer there, but changing the system to put us in a better position to succeed globally in the 21st century. Our code was last reformed in '86 in a very different global economy. The rest of the world changed since then. Most of them have parliamentary systems, so they can do it pretty quickly. We haven't. And now we're on the receiving end of having the worst tax code in the industrialized world. The average tax rate on businesses in the industrialized world is 22.5%. The tax rate on corporations, which is 20% of American businesses, is 35%. 80% of American businesses are pass-throughs, sub-S corporations, LLCs, sole proprietorships. Their top effective tax rate is 44.6%. Canada's tax rate is 15. Ireland's is 12.5. England's 18. China is anywhere from 15 to 25. We're 35 to 45. It is killing us. It's not just cutting rates, it's reforming the system to put us in a better position to compete in the global economy, but also to incentivize stuff being made in this country, businesses staying in this country, factories being built in this country. And right now, the code, the way it works, discourages that. I think the jury's still out because we haven't finished this agenda. In the House, we've passed 316 bills, fastest pace in a couple of decades, but 260 of those bills are still in the Senate. And so it's just an incomplete yet. It's too early to say. I think I wouldn't look to Twitter to judge performance. I would look to results to judge performance, and we're in the midst of trying to achieve these results. I talk to him a great deal. If he does things that I think need to be spoken out against, I do. Charlottesville, the sheriff thing. But more often than not, I find it more productive to have these private conversations with him, because my goal is to get him to succeed. Because if he succeeds, then the whole country succeeds. And so that is what I see my role as, in a separate but equal branch of government, trying to work with the administration to implement a policy agenda that I sincerely and truly believe will improve people's lives and fix a lot of this country's problems. And that is why we're doing what we do. That is why we're in these vocations, to make a positive difference and push what you believe is right. We ran on an agenda in '16. We're in the middle of executing that agenda. The president agrees with that agenda. So for the country to succeed, he needs to succeed, and I want to help him do that. We're relatively better off than other states in that only 10 of our counties are down to one insurance plan. The projections are that next year, 47% of the counties in America will have one insurer left in the exchanges. There's a bunch of counties that have none left. Menominee is one of them in Wisconsin. And so I really think doing nothing just doesn't work, because people in the individual market will continue to have skyrocketing premiums, massive deductibles, and no choices. You know, one plan's not a choice. So my hope is the Senate gets back at it. They spent the last month in August working on this Graham-Cassidy reform. Lindsey Graham's got an idea about turning it over to the states. It's a very intriguing idea. It's not totally unsimilar from what we passed in the House. And so my hope is that the Senate, who failed by one vote to get this done about a month ago, gets back at it when we return Tuesday. We will not go for a government-run healthcare system. We think a single-payer system would be a huge mistake. And the problem is the vast majority of their members want a single-payer system, and they will not take something short of that. And so there is just an ideological chasm here. I just got to acknowledge it. There's an ideological chasm here where they just believe in single-payer. We don't. And so we're trying to make a private healthcare system work with public financing. We've always thought that was the way to go. That is what our bill does. And right now we're going to see what the Senate can do. We can't put this all in one big bill, because to us infrastructure isn't just roads and bridges. It's also airports and runways and grid and pipelines and energy and many different things. Broadband for rural areas, all of that stuff. So we plan on basically over the next 6 months or so, fourth quarter of this year, first quarter next year, rolling out the infrastructure agenda. Right now, what's on the plate is FAA. We have to switch our air traffic control system from this very old 20th century ground-based radar system to GPS, which will make us much, much more efficient. And so we're in the middle of that right now. That bill's out of committee. We're bringing it to the floor. There's a big debate about pieces of that bill between airlines and general aviation and you name it. But that is a massive overhaul of airports, runways, and the air traffic control system. Right now, we're doing the aviation piece because that really needs to get dealt with, like in a big way. They call it next gen. And then we're going to be doing a lot of different stuff on grid, pipeline, energy, roads and bridges, and the rest. So that's going to take quite a bit of work. And the Transportation Committee actually does most of this. So they are first doing aviation, and then they're going to move over to the brick and mortar stuff you're thinking of.